Time for a new series of Devo tips on the book of Revelation. Let's get started. With winged and wild creatures, locust plagues, and a crazed woman riding a seven-headed beast, you might think, hooray, it's season 4 of Stranger Things. Sorry, Netflix bingers. It's just the book of Revelation. Why is this book so difficult to interpret? Well, I think many people jump right into what does this mean without considering what is Revelation. So, what is Revelation? Revelation is an apocalyptic prophecy epistle. That's a mouthful. Sounds complicated. So, let's break it down. Revelation is an epistle. John wrote this letter to 7 real churches from the island of Patmos at the end of Domitian's reign in AD 95. Domitian was demanding at that time that everyone worship his statue as if he were a god. He terrorized anyone that refused to bow to him. And John was on Patmos due to imperial banishment. Revelation is a prophecy. Biblical prophecy speaks to the time of the author and into the future. This form of communication is like poetic, impressionist paintings. They present God's message through vivid images, vivid, colorful metaphors and symbols that often parallel one another. Revelation is also apocalyptic. Apocalyptic literature is known for arranging its material in numbered sets. When these sets are put together, the events they describe parallel and intensify as God exonerates the righteous and brings an end to history. So when John says, then I saw, countless times in Revelation, he's only indicating the sequence in which he received the visions. You see, the purpose of Revelation is to reveal the glorious, victorious reign of King Jesus. This is the revelation of Jesus Christ, not the revelation of the Antichrist. Jesus' ascension proved that he has the keys of death and Hades. He alone is seated at the right hand of God, far above all rule and authority and power and dominion, and above every name that is named not only in this age, but also in the one to come. That's Ephesians 1. In putting everything in subjection to him, he left nothing outside his control, says the writer of Hebrews, even though at present we do not yet see everything in subjection to him. Make no mistake about it, though. Jesus is alive and he is Lord. Why is it important to know that the rule of Jesus Christ is not something that is going to happen just at the end of history? Well, Revelation reveals how Jesus, the ruler of the kings on earth, actively reigns through his spirit-filled people, a people whom Jesus made a kingdom, priest to his God and Father. Jesus' kingdom power operates through and becomes evident in our proclamation of the gospel and acts of selfless love. Even our worship and our prayers for mercy and justice influence world affairs. So in chapter 1, Jesus says, I am the Alpha, the one who began it all, and the Omega, the one who completes on earth what I started. He has a plan that will progressively intensify the spiritual conflict between God's kingdom of priests and the forces of evil until he returns to usher in the eternal age to come. So what time frame in history does Revelation focus on? Jesus tells us. Revelation concerns things that are, that's John's day, and things that must soon take place, that's after John's day, and things that are to take place after this, long after John's day. You see, Revelation pertains to every generation since John's generation. So although it's easy to get caught up in the details, it's important to remember that Jesus begins and ends his revelation with a blessing for those who not only read and hear the words of this book, but for those who keep what is written in it. How can you keep what is written in this book? Stay tuned for the next Devo tip next week.